Hi, welcome to Classic Cars Driven. My name's Matt Nichols and today we're driving the Series 3 E-Type V12. This is the second E-Type we featured. The first car we thought in fact was a Series 1.5. And we featured it as such, and thanks to feedback on the YouTube channel, what became clear was the car was in fact a Series 2 car, the giveaway being the rear lights below the bumpers as they were on the Series 2, whereas on the earlier Series 1 and 1.5 cars the lights remained above the bumper. So thanks to everybody who fed back on that. Coming back to this Series 3 car, the main difference over the Series 1, 1.5 and Series 2 cars is Jaguar for the first time introduced a 5.3 litre V12. This was quite unusual at the time. It was only really Ferrari and Lamborghini who were fitting those type of engines to their production cars. And the V12 engine in the Jaguar is renowned to being a very, very smooth, beautiful engine. And spending some time with it today, I have to say I do agree with that. One of the things that stands out when you're driving the earlier cars, and like I said, we drove what turned out to be a Series 2 convertible, is that they're quite lightweight. They weigh in about 1,300 kilos, and you can still feel in the car very much Jaguar's original intent, which was a sports car in convertible form and a sort of tourer, grand tourer in coupe form. But with a smaller engine and some of the earliest cars, a shorter floor pan, there was a lot more of the race car dynamic and arguably less of the grand tourer. So in the final iteration in the Series 3 car, all the cars, whether they're convertibles or coupes, come on the longer, which is about 9 inches longer, floor pan to give a bit more space inside. The doors are slightly wider, which makes it marginally easier to get in. You've still got to scrabble over the very wide sills, so you normally end it halfway in, halfway out. It's not quite like a modern car. You definitely know you're climbing into something classic when you get into an E-Type Jaguar. Anyway, you fit yourself inside and you've still got the familiar Jaguar dial sat in front of you, and you've still got the array of dials in the middle. I suppose the main difference when you sat inside is that the ignition key, which would have been originally on the dash, if you remember back to the car we drove before, has been moved down to just below the steering wheel in a barrel lock, which comes with a steering lock as well. I guess a sign of the times when car thefts were becoming more and more common and a degree of security was needed. But other than that, and some flared front arches, this is a pucker E-Type with a Jaguar V12 engine. What you get when you're driving it, there's no question that this is now very much a grand tourer. Gone are the race car type dynamic, very much a larger feel to the car. It's very easy to drive, performance is excellent as you can imagine, from what would have been upwards of 240 brake horsepower V12 engine with about 300 pounds-feet of torque on pretty much all the variations, whether they were US, European or UK spec. Pretty much convinced if you keep this car in 4th gear, there's not much else you need to do, such is the range of the engine. But when you do open the taps up a bit, the performance is incredible. The car pulls really strongly, the handling's predictable, brakes are incredibly fresh, required hardly any adjustment. Even the pedal layout means you can wear a normal sized pair of shoes, even with my clown feet, and you don't need to make hardly any adjustment. It really is only the very long bonnet on these cars that is something you need to take care and consideration, particularly at junctions. It's definitely a step up from the previous models. It's got a much larger, rounder feel to it. It really is the Grand Tourer that the Jaguar always wanted to produce, whether it's in convertible form like this or in the 2+2 coupe. With the bigger engine adds a little bit more weight. Weight of this car is up around 1,500 kilos, which is even quite big by modern day standards. And I think gone are the sort of race car dynamics you got on the smaller engine cars, but instead you just get this glorious ability to waft your way around the countryside in what is still the most beautiful car ever made. I've been Matt Nichols. This is ClassicCarsDriven.com, and today we've been driving the Jaguar E-Type Series 3 V12.